In yesterday's IPL clash, Punjab Kings emerged victorious against Rajasthan Royals, securing a crucial 5 wickets win. This triumph marks Punjab's 5th win of the season, propelling them into a total of 10 points. Despite Rajasthan's earlier playoff qualification, they faced their 4th consecutive defeat in the tournament, unable to defend their total 144 for 9 posted at their second home ground in Guwahati. Punjab chase was led by captain Sam Curran's stellar unbeaten performance, and David Brooks is happy when he joins us from London talking about it. Of course, we're still some time away. Talking about Rajasthan bowlers, including Avesh Khan and Yuzvendra Chahal, fought hard with 2 wickets each, but ultimately couldn't contain Punjab's determined chase. Shifting on to focus in today's fixture, Sunrisers. Yes, the Hyderabadi Sunrisers prepare themselves for the clash with Gujarat Titans at the Rajiv Gandhi International Cricket Stadium in Hyderabad, with Hyderabad eyeing to secure a spot in the playoffs. The match holds immense significance for both teams, despite Gujarat's historical dominance, winning 3 out of their 4 encounters against Hyderabad. The latter's recent form, coupled with home advantage, could swing the match in their favour. Hyderabad's commanding victory in the last game at this venue, where they chased down Lucknow Super Giants' target of 165 runs in just 9.4 overs. Yes, chased down the total in under 10 overs, highlighting their formidable presence in the home soil, posing a formidable challenge for Gujarat Titans in today's anticipated showdown. Well, the bad news is that it's raining in Hyderabad. The good news is the rain is about to be stopped, and the match is happening for sure in this present circumstances and condition. Of course, I'm joined by special guest David Brooks, who's in London, the former cricket director for Channel 4. Rest, everybody is here in our studio for the first time. We've got a good lineup. It's like an auction lineup that we've managed to pick. Tatinda Ziambe, the cricket expert from Zimbabwe. We have Paul Dennett, one of the leading name voices from the Australian cricket part. He's a podcaster, well-known guy, and of course, in the evening, he masquerades as Wayne Rooney's part 2. Of course, we all also joined by Stanley Chiodza, the former Zimbabwean cricketer at the junior level, at the international level, but he's more important. More recently, he's been the cricket bowling coach for the senior team, which played in Bangladesh last week. So we managed to get a good lineup. We'll start off with Titande. Titande, what do we have about today's match? Just throw some facts, throw some stats, and bamboozle us.
Okay, well, it's nothing to really bamboozle, but I think for those people who are interested in the playoff picture, obviously Gujarat, their chances were washed away, pun intended, in their last game when the rain, basically was called off their game against KKR. So there's not much in it for them. For Sunrisers Hyderabad, on the other hand, there's a chance for them to even go as high as second, thereby missing the first eliminator. And obviously, you know how that can obviously be in the IPL in these circumstances. So that's what's at stake for Sunrisers. They win both their final games. Then they've got an excellent chance of perhaps, finishing second. Whereas Gujarat, season's pretty much done. I guess at this point, they're just trying to avoid the wooden spoon and trying to avoid finishing dead last. It's a competition between them, Punjab, and of course, Mumbai Indians. Never thought I'd say that at the beginning of the season.
You never thought you'd say that.
Yeah.
Paul Dennett, what went wrong with Gujarat Titans, considering in the 3 years, they've got a trophy, they were the runner-up, and now they're eyeing for wooden spoon. What's wrong?
Hey, Sunil. Well, firstly, can I just say it's great to be in India, a country where cricket is the king. I feel that that's what it should be in Australia. In the pubs and clubs in Australia, cricket's a big sport, but the football codes are what we tend to talk about most. And so here, taxi drivers talking to you about cricket, a guy talking to you today with more knowledge about the Big Bash than I have, and he's an Indian. So it's incredible to be here. What's gone wrong with Gujarat? Well, you mentioned that they've had 2 great seasons before this.
Yes.
It's like they're still in 2022 or 2023. The IPL has changed this year. It's 200 is barely a par score, and their output, their top order, Miller, Riddiman Saha, Gill himself, they just haven't been explosive enough. And I think that they have missed the opportunity to do something a bit funky. Throw Rashid Khan at the top of the order, a bit like KKR do with Sunil Narine. But I think that their batting just hasn't had the explosiveness. And with their bowling, the penetration hasn't been that good. Rashid Khan is their second top wicket taker, despite the fact that by his standards, he hasn't had the greatest IPL. Still been pretty good, economy rate of 8.4. But you put all that together, and sadly, that not only are they near the bottom, but their net run rate's pretty sick.
Absolutely. The net run rate has been really sick. Stanley Chioza, we welcome you to the show. In India, you open your batting today. Tell me, if you were the coach, what do you see? What are the problems that you see for Gujarat right now as a coach?
I think it's been a torrid year. Obviously, people keep bringing up the name of Hardik Pandya, but I think that's a massive hangover to still talk about Hardik Pandya. He's moved on, so has the team. However, I think the main challenge has been trying to find that winning combination. They have used 23 players in the season to try and find a formula. And of that 23 players, you won't believe this, 11 of those have been used from number 4 to 7 in the batting lineup. And this is pretty much one of the reasons why they have such a low scoring rate, pretty much up front and in the middle. So, which is where Sunrisers have been fantastic in this IPL 2024. Daniel Vittori, Pat Cummins, the new captain who's joined them this season, they've seemed to have found a formula, and the formula that's working. He's given his young charges the ability to go out there and express themselves and to be explosive, which is exactly what Paul Bennett was talking about, that the IPL has moved. And with the Sunrisers, they seem to have found the formula, and it'll be good to see these teams be in the final. They've been brilliant.
Very important. David Brooks, please walk into the discussion and just answer this. Has IPL evolved? The strategies have evolved with SRH coming there? If yes, then do you think it's curtains for the old decorated coaches like Gary Kirsten, who's been hanging here in India for far too long without too many things and fact checks, of course? Do you think its time has come to a fruition now or an end? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, and good day to you, Sunil. And yeah, it's a wonderful gathering you've got there in the studio, which I was part of it with Paul and Tender and Stanley, of course. Yeah, well, has Gary Kirsten's time come? I mean, he is seen as a batting specialist coach these days. Apparently, Shubman Gill appreciates the work he's done with them. But I think that behind your question is everything right in the Titans camp? You know,
yes.
What thought has been put into assembling this squad? It's too easy to blame the captain. I think Shubman Gill's done a terrific job as captain in difficult circumstances with a less than optimal, squad that he's been given. It's unbalanced, and he's still working on his own game, and he's come to the party with a couple of brilliant innings, a couple of great centuries, and perhaps not much in between. But there's been a lot hanging on his shoulders, and I look at the management team, all those positions in the coaching staff, and more to the point, how are the owners running this franchise? How did they play the draft? Did they have a clear plan of action? It's not apparent. In other teams, you see a clear strategy, because underpinning your question is basically the truth that the IPL is getting better and better, more and more competitive. So these weaknesses, when squads are assembled with weaknesses, or a batting coach has been there too long, these things become too evident and become the Achilles heel. That means that they won't progress in the tournament. So as the competition gets better and better and fiercer in competition, then all these weaknesses off the field come to really make it count.
Well, that's an important point you make. But at the same time, Stanley Chioza, let's come back. If the play has changed, the coaching must have changed too, and the mindset. What are the 3 changes you see as compared to last time? And we're talking not only in GT's term, but we're talking overall. Stanley.
Well, look, I think one thing is certain for me with my coaching philosophy, you've got to keep an open mind. And an open mind is such that you've got to be able to assess, accept, and adapt quickly. And I think this is what Daniel Vittori and Pat Cummins did. Obviously, Pat Cummins coming in from the KKR to join the Sunrisers Hyderabad. But one thing that you notice about the Sunrisers Hyderabad, they have a compatible team. Okay, it's not a big mixture of your old guard and young players. There's pretty much players who are all in their prime. This is a team that I think can still be together for another 2-3 years of the IPL season. And that augurs well, because what it means is that you have a similar team for quite a number of years. Yes, it's probably their first time together under the leadership of Daniel Vettori, who also joined them this year. But you can see the line of Daniel Vettori. His line of thinking is bringing that youthful exuberance, let it go out there and express itself, which is perhaps what all the other teams perhaps in the IPL need to do.
Well, very interesting question begs our attention, and that is Pat Cummins. What do you think is that Australian doing right at this point of time? Paul Dennett, the other Aussie from Sydney.
Well, he's very calm.
Yes.
He's
unlike an Aussie.
He's very atypical, yeah, and I'm so happy because we used to be known as the sportsmanship captains of the world in the 60s and the 50s and 60s. We were lovely. Everyone loved us, David Brooks. But then things have changed.
When was that?
When was that? The question is that. Paul Dennett, look him in the eye and answer the question.
It ended in
when was that?
It ended in about 1972. But it's coming back. And I think that Cummins is very calm. He doesn't sledge. He doesn't engage in any of that stuff.
Absolutely.
He has reinvented his own bowling.
Yes.
He's slower balls, and he's he hasn't blown away the opposition in terms of his bowling, but it's been pretty serviceable.
Yes.
And you just got to look at the last time these two teams met. That Gujarat won it in a canter. Miller hit the last ball for 6, and you'd say, oh well, this is the runners-up thrashing the team that came last. We're going to expect more of this. And then look at they had Agarwal opening then.
Yeah.
Travis Shack wasn't even a thing.
Absolutely.
Now it's I'm so terrified of the rain tonight that I'm going to get to miss out potentially on watching those two go around, because we could see 300. So yeah, Cummins is fantastic, and he's actually proven me wrong, because I thought he was a bad buy at the auction. And I'm a bit sad to have to say that to have to admit that.
Well, when we talk about the punting and we talk about the predictions, you can't go wrong with David Brooks. David Brooks, did you get certain things wrong in the SRH camp or Gujarat camp, considering you're wearing the MCC famous necktie?
Well, I got something wrong last time SRH played, and I said to you then, I'm not going to oppose Pat Cummins again. Because I was so impressed with his captaincy and so impressed with the attitude of the team. It wasn't much a must-win game. And from ball one, they were absolutely on it, weren't they? So although he's calm, as Paul said, he's also got this very good relationship with the players. You can see how seriously they take it with him and how he can get the best out of them. They were absolutely on it from ball one. I would expect them to be the same again today. So yeah, I'm not going to make a mistake I made last time of opposing SRH. SRH today to win for sure. And much to do with Pat Cummins as anything else. I think he's capable of also contributing in that individual way when it matters most. He just makes telling interventions, and I think he's been absolute revelation as captain both of Australia and of this Sunrisers side.
Well, talking about SRH, will they go? Stanley Chiodza, you're very astute when it comes to being the student of the game. Will they go in for the top 2 finishes, or will they rotate their staff?
Look, for SRH, the one thing that's got them going is that they seem to have found a winning formula. And for me, I know obviously somebody might say that there's an opportunity for Gujarat Titans to bring in some of their fringe players, give them an opportunity to see what they've got in the stock or what they missed out upon. For SRH, for Daniel Vettori and Pat Cummins, there's no need to change anything. It's a winning formula, it's a winning team. Guys have absorbed their roles, they're sticking to them. Let them flow, right? The old adage says you don't change a winning formula, you don't change a winning team. So there's no need for me to change anything, as it were, if I found myself coaching that team. Possibly, what I would just ask is just like, in this tournament, how much influence does a team have on home conditions? Because coming into a game like this, my strength as SRH is batting. So I'd like to see SRH at their home conditions set up a good batting surface. Should you win the toss first, back the opposition out. Should you lose the toss and find yourselves chasing, be in a position to chase down any total, that would have been said, because that has been their strength. Pound for pound, you find that SRH is stronger in that batting department. So there's no need to change it. Use it.
Right, Paul did it. When we look at the power play, let's look at the first power play, compare both the teams and see where they stand. More or less, they've lost the same number of wickets. Gujarat has 16 and SRH has 17. But SRH scores at the fastest rate, Gujarat Titans has the slowest. SRH has the highest number of sixes throughout the match, throughout their innings, and Gujarat has the lowest. Where are they going wrong in terms of the power play, or is it too early, or just it's not right to just look at the power play and the middle overs?
Well, it's everything. It's the stat that I love, and I wish I could take credit for this, but I actually I can't. Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma combined have hit 66 sixes in the IPL. Gujarat Titans have hit 67. So the entire team.
Oh my God!
And it's a good stat, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I got it from Cricinfo. So. But I had to say because I thought it was really good. But I think that's the thing that there is this notion that you've got to preserve wickets and be conservative, and it's almost becoming an outdated notion. The impact sub has had such an impact on that, pardon the pun, that sometimes sides, when they finish 3 or 4 down, you actually say they should have lost a few more wickets and gained a few more runs by being a little bit riskier. And I think that's the issue. And obviously, you know, the performance of Saha in particular, that he's scoring slowly and not scoring enough runs, has been a significant problem. And with SRH, they now, you know, they back down to number 9 with Cummins himself coming in there. So I think that they could produce anything tonight on, and as Stanley said, with the pitch, it actually has been a batting paradise throughout the IPL, and if it continues tonight, if the rain stays away, we could see something pretty special.
Well, absolutely, but there's the rain and there's a curtailed match. Stanley, if it's a 10-over match, what would you tell? Win the toss, go chase the runs, but what is a good total for you, for your team, whichever you choose?
Well, one thing, whether there's rain or not, the one thing that doesn't change is that it's a batting surface. So, and I think irrespective of whether it's a shortened game or not, this is I think it's a game, statistically speaking, that also favors the SRH. But one thing, one context that I could bring in, this very surface is a batting paradise in the sense that not even spin has found it hard to stop the flow of runs. 61 sixes have been scored against spinners on this very surface. Gujarat Titans have Rashid Khan. He's not been the same Rashid Khan.
Let's talk about Rashid Khan, and I'll also get David Brooks in. I will come back to Rashid Khan in a while. David Brooks, do you think Rashid Khan has been underused? And then I'll get Stanley in and then do a wrap-up of where we stand, what's happening.
I mean, I agree with the point that was made, Stanley or Paul, forgive me which one of you said that. They could have done more with Rashid, maybe with his batting, moved him up the order, tried to do a Narayan, because he's got so much to offer, and they somehow haven't got the best out of him. I mean, here's another stat. I don't know whether anyone's mentioned this yet, but they've used 23 players, the Titans. 23 in a 8-week tournament. I mean,
who does that in today's world?
Well, I beg pardon?
No, I said who does that? Which team does that?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it shows lack of planning, doesn't it? They don't know their best combination, and therefore they don't know the best roles. And I think Rashid, hasn't been at his absolute best, but you know, that's partly to do with the dynamic within the team and the clear role that he needs to be given. And because if you're not getting the best out of Rashid, you ask about Rashid the player, but you also ask about the support staff and the team around him. Why haven't they got the best out of him?
Stanley Chioza, the coach, just come in and talk about, do you think Paul made a very interesting point that could he have been used as Sunil Narayan like he did for KKR with bat and the ball? Your views, Stanley Chioza.
Well, the one thing that I like about the format of T20, it offers endless opportunities, okay? And I think this season was one of those. He's been a batsman who's been reliable, but unfortunately he comes late in the order.
Yes.
There's no harm in giving an opportunity just to come 1 or 2 places up, just to try and do something different. I mean, like I'm saying, like David Brooks mentioned, I did mention it, 23 players. 11 in the middle order between 4 to 7. There is just no stability. Without stability, there is no consistency. So this is where Gujarat Titans have really struggled. And to be honest, it's not just pressure on a captain like Shubman Gill, who has World Cup selection on his shoulders already, and now he's missed out. And then it's also pressure on the technical staff.
Very interesting point. David Brooks, just side on with or disagree with Stanley Chiozza's point, and we'll get Paul Dennett in.
Well, I think I'm in broad agreement that, if you're not getting the best out of players, then and you're chopping and changing.
Who's to be blamed? The question is, this is the same core team, this is the same old people that you've won your championship or came in the finals. Who's to be blamed?
Who's to be blamed? Someone's got to carry the can. Yeah, I think others might be better placed to call that. Someone needs to carry the can. Who is going to take responsibility? When you've got these big
let me read out and please see if you can find some Aussie there. Head coach Ashish Nehra, Vikram Solanki, director of cricket, batting coach and mentor, Mr. Gary Kirsten, and assistant coach, absolutely.
Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Would you agree, Stanley Chiozza?
Yeah, look, there's too many chefs, that's for sure. And I would like the question is Ashish Nehra the right man for this position? I know it's a question that obviously Paul Dennett would easily say then, look, but he's led them to number one, he's led them to number two. But with someone like a Gary Kirsten, I think it would have been better. Gary Kirsten steering the ship and then being assisted obviously by someone like an Ashish Nehra.
Paul Dennett, your views on this?
I'm surprised you didn't blame Spencer Johnson. I think there's an Aussie for you, Gujarat.
That's the only Aussie.
No, but I think I will defend the coach, as Stanley sort of predicted, that you've got to take the good with the bad. And when they came in as a new franchise, if you'd said that they're going to come first, second and possibly last, I think people would have said that's a pretty good return for a new franchise in such a highly competitive league. So very disappointing, and it's a ruthless league, so maybe he'll be out, but he'll be able to, history will judge him kindly, as they sometimes say.
Right, history will judge them kindly. Let's talk about Rashid Khan, the bowler. You've got some good facts on Rashid Khan, Paul Dennett.
Well, everyone's saying that he's having a poor tournament, and as I said, by his standards, it hasn't been his greatest, but he has an economy rate of 8.4 runs per over in this tournament. Which is
exceptionally good for a spinner.
In this league where we're looking sometimes and seeing a bowler with 9.8 and thinking, oh, that's not too bad, because the batting has just been so extraordinary. So he's also their second highest wicket taker, which is a problem given I think he's only taken 10 wickets. 12 wickets. They haven't been as effective in that regard. But yeah, so he hasn't been the absolute top player in the league as he often is in the Big Bash and here in the IPL. He's still been among the better players though.
Well, we'll talk about we've come to the last end of our program. Who do you think is going to win today and why, considering it's going to be a rain-curtailed short match?
I've got to tip Sunrisers Hyderabad. There's no surprises there. It's such an open league, anything could happen. But my expectation is that SRH will have a commanding win. They still actually haven't yet guaranteed their place.
Stanley Chiozza, your time starts now. 5 seconds.
I'll go with SRH. I mean, yes, they've had 8 days to break, but look, I think they've got such a strong batting lineup. They've got a young and exuberant young team that I think is ready to challenge.
To SRH, David Brooks.
I'm with SRH as well. Can I ask one question of the panel, of you all?
Quickly.
English players have gone. Has anyone noticed they've left?
They like the weather. It's like the Crowded House song, always take the weather with you. We don't care what the weather is, but the English guys come in, they take their fact checks, they go. But we'll take a final word from Tatinda, not Taibu.
I'm going to use the phrase chip on your shoulder. I think Gujarat are perhaps due for one. He had a match rained out. I think Shubman Gill's probably going to be a little ticked off that he didn't quite make the World Cup. Look for a good performance from him.
Absolutely. So we've got a thing of 3-1. SRH, highly favoured team here. I thank all my guests, the panelists, especially from London, taking a good stand on the English players. Paul Dennett, who makes his debut, not as Wayne Rooney, and Stanley Chiozza. Thank you very much. That's all we had time for.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.